Brazil, South America's giant, is falling to a communist takeover, backed by Beijing and enforced by corrupt judges. For young Americans watching, this isn't some far-away story. It's a warning sign. To start, I spoke with Alan dos Santos. He's Brazil's most influential independent journalist. His outlet was shut down, his family threatened, even while he lived in exile in the United States.
So in Brazil, we started Terça Livre, my company that was shut down. That was back in 2014. The reason we have got so dangerous because we have been reaching the sky too fast and unmasking the mainstream media without any fear.
Alan says the Chinese Communist Party used Brazil as a test case through infrastructure, business, and ideology to fuse socialism and capitalism into one model. He also connects it to the Communist Party of the United States.
If you read Road to Socialism by the Communist Party in America, you can see they have been targeting Brazil as a laboratory, changing the paper vote ballots to a voting machine, and later on using the judiciary in these roads that you can't beat your opponent, like for example, legislature, using the Congress or using the executive power.
Nicolas Ferreira is Brazil's most voted congressman. He says Lula's ties with dictatorships are transforming Brazil into a hub for global authoritarianism.
In Brazil, we have a corrupt politician aligned with dictators running the country, along with an activist and tyrannical Supreme Court. Politicians, journalists, and judges are living in exile. Innocent people have been arrested, and right-wing figures like Bolsonaro have been banned from running in elections.
Bia Kicis is a congresswoman in Brasilia. She warns that the greatest danger is not just corruption or censorship, but losing Brazil's very sovereignty.
Lula's agenda is closely aligned with the Chinese Communist Party. This threatens our economy, our freedoms, and even our democracy. If this continues unchecked, Brazil could become just another satellite of global communism and authoritarian globalism.
Alan also believes Brazil's crisis isn't accidental. He says the system being tested there was first designed in the United States and then exported back to South America.
De Moraes and Barroso, they are huge fan of what Harvard is doing to use the judiciary power to promote social justice, what they call social justice. So they can not interpret the law. They are not willing to apply the law. They're willing to use the law against their opponents. So they have learned from the United States University. They have been helped by the USAID and the Biden administration. They applied that against Bolsonaro. They were using the same lawfare against Donald Trump. They were using Brazil to test if that works or not.
Alan describes Brazil's legal system as lawfare, where courts are not neutral, but political weapons.
We do not have common law, for example. Judges nowadays in Brazil, they are free to fix democracy. They think themselves as like a doctor. De Moraes said that recently, saying that he is the vaccine to the cancer in Brazil. He said that to American newspaper. Who can you appeal if the Supreme Court justice decided something against you? Because there is no judiciary power above them.
Nicolas himself has been targeted. He says even though he was the most voted lawmaker, the system silenced him.
All of my social media accounts have been suspended without any explanation. The Brazilian justice system launched an investigation against me and tried to silence and fine me simply because I said that Lula is a corrupt man who belongs in prison.
The world will be a better place if there weren't so many people promising to improve it. It's a quote from philosopher Olavo de Carvalho, and that fits perfectly with Greta and Leonardo DiCaprio, for example, that supported our socialist president called Lula, a thief that should be in jail.
Marcel van Hatten, another congressman, connects today's crisis to the São Paulo Forum, founded by Lula and Fidel Castro in the 1990s, to spread socialism across the continent.
This group has been quite successful. Indeed, we see that Venezuela has as its dictator too, Nicolás Maduro. Many countries has been subject to leftist dictatorships. The objective of the São Paulo Forum is not only to conquer power in our continent, but also expand to other places in the world. And this is why the São Paulo Forum is so dangerous, because it is not only successful here, and it needs to be opposed by democratic leaders in each one of our countries, but it is also a tool for expanding socialism and communism into other countries.
What happens in Brazil matters to young people in America because our fight is the same as theirs. The advance of the left is global, and when the largest nation in Latin America falls into China's orbit, it directly impacts the West. There's also a serious risk of Brazil becoming a narco state, since our territory is the main exit route for drugs produced in Latin America. If Brazil is weakened, those drugs will reach Americans' street even more easily. Defending freedom in Brazil also means defending freedom and security in the United States and throughout the world.
Young Americans should be very, very attentive to what is happening in Brazil. Also because what happens in Brazil can always happen in the United States. In fact, we've seen already a lot going on in the United States in respect to lawfare.
Say thank to God because you are in America. There is no other constitution in the world can be close to this one here. Fight hard against those who want to destroy the United States Republic. Protect this country because that's the last bastion of freedom.
Brazil is the front line of a global battle. Communism and authoritarianism on one side, liberty on the other. For young Americans, the lesson is clear. Learn from Brazil, defend your constitution, and never forget, freedom isn't inherited, it's defended. Vicky Richter for Frontlines.